She's a professional opera singer and songwriter who has performed extensively all over the United States and the world. Of her personal need as a singer, she realized the need for a platform such as Wurrly, which is a free mobile app which transforms your smartphone into an on-the-go music studio. This year developed Wurrly EDU, which works to supplement existing curriculums by adding a high-quality but easy-to-use recording studio and extensive song library to classrooms, as well as collaboration tools and a global perspective. Please welcome to the stage Ms. Nadine Levitt.
Yeah. I'm going to put this over here in case I need it. Hi, everyone. I'm Nadine Levitt. That was a very spectacular entrance. It's crazy to think that just a few years ago, I was touring as an opera singer, and actually I had a lot of fire because I was touring with the professional bull riding and lots of sporting events. And here I am now talking to you guys about education technology, so slightly different. So I started a company called Wurrly EDU, and we have a few different apps, but our main platform is an education platform. So I am obviously a little bit biased about the role technology should play in education, because I think it's important. But I'm also a mom. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I think about what kind of skills I want them to be learning in schools. And so I specifically have built a product that I think teaches skills that they will actually use in life. Is there a monitor that I can see this? There we go. So I wanted to ask each of you, how many people here have a device on them, an iPhone, a smartphone, an iPad, something like that? All right, so most of you. How many have two? Okay, and how many have three? Maybe an Apple Watch too? There you go. So technology is everywhere, and the role it plays in our life is pretty extraordinary. There was a study done a while ago that said that the average person with a Kleiner Caulfield study touched their phones over 2 million times a 2 million times a year, sorry. It was top 10% of smartphone users. Teens spend 9 hours a day. Now that's more than a work week, which is crazy, consuming media, and 67% of teens have a device. Tweens, on the other hand, spend about 6 hours a day, which is, again, very crazy to me. I have kids myself, and 53% of teens have their own tablet. So the problem that I foresee with technology is that it can cause an addiction. So if you're checking your phone every 3.5 minutes, there's usually something wrong with why you're being drawn back to your phone. And it's also a very externally focused sense of self-value, whether it's social media and you're addicted to getting those likes from your friends, or gauging your popularity based on an external focus. Technology can also be used as a weapon. It's very easy for people to bully somebody else when they're hiding behind a screen. If I'm standing here and I say something to you that's bullying or mean or something like that, I see your reaction and it affects me somehow. Whereas if I'm behind a screen, I don't get that reaction, so there's sort of no consequence to my actions. There's also an over-reliance on technology. I know for me personally, I use my calculator way too much. I probably should be able to add and multiply more than I do. It's easy to use my calculator. Information overload makes everybody feel like an expert. And by this, I mean, how many of you have diagnosed yourself using Dr. Google? So something's wrong with you, you Google what's wrong with me and your symptoms and so forth, suddenly you're an expert. And it also can cause shallow relationships that are based on text messages and social media. You miss the emotional context when you just have writing rather than some kind of emotional word and so forth. There was a fantastic piece of art that I saw that says, "I need to talk to you, email me." And I just thought it was a very poignant moment. Very modern way of relationships. The benefits of technology, in my opinion, far outweigh the risks. We have access to all the knowledge in the world instantly. Forecasting and mapping, so save time and money, and by that I mean if I'm sitting in a car and I can plan my trips according to traffic. I can also see what weather patterns are going to be and plan a project, whether it's a construction project or anything else. We have the ability to connect with friends and family around the world instantly. I know with my parents live in New Zealand, and the relationship that they have with their grandchildren is obviously a lot stronger because they get to see each other with FaceTime and with Skype. So there's not, 50 years ago it was mail carrier. They were getting a postcard. Today it's a much deeper relationship. You can have experiences that when you're not even in the room using augmented reality and virtual reality. This is particularly powerful with people in hospitals. In my opinion, I saw some children. There's a wonderful program being run in the United States where they bring virtual reality to hospital rooms for children, and they're taken outside of their walls in a place where they wouldn't normally be able to do that. Obviously, I think there's someone speaking here today about how you can now operate virtually. So you can actually save lives. A doctor can save a life and not even be in the same country, never mind the same room as their patients. So it begs the question, what role should technology play in education? And to me, this is a question of, as a parent, I think, well, what are the skills that I want my kids to be learning in schools? It certainly isn't like 50 years ago where it was to get my kids ready to be in a factory worker or to be in there was a nurse, there was a teacher, there were certain jobs that were available. Now, I want to focus on the skills like communication skills, collaboration skills, problem-solving skills, analytical skills. I want my children to be best equipped to be entrepreneurs, to be free thinkers. And so that's what what I look for in education and technology. But let's look where we came from. So EdTech looking back. In 1982, there was a big push by Apple to bring computers into schools. They lobbied with the government to get a big tax break so that they could make that happen, and they had a huge impact on schools. In 1985, there was the graphic calculator, thank you. In 1991, there was the World Wide Web. In 1995, the first learning management system was launched, thanks to the World Wide Web. In 2006, the XO laptop allowed one laptop per child in developing countries. And now you don't even have to sit in this lecture or any other lecture around the world because there's lecture capture, meaning that you can miss out on something but catch up in your own time. So is this what the future of EdTech looks like? Is it virtual reality? Is it augmented reality? And while I have nothing against virtual reality and augmented reality, I really hope not. And here's why. In my opinion, the best way to learn is experientially. Experiential learning is, by definition, the process of learning through experience and then reflecting on that experience. I think when you couple that with emotion, it's even more powerful. And by this, what I mean is, if I say, what were you doing last Thursday at 10 a.m.? You'd have to look at your calendar, I'm sure, unless it was some special day. You probably wouldn't remember. But if I asked you, what were you doing the morning of September 11, or the day that Princess Diana died, or on a less gloomy note, the day that you met the person you married, or the first love, or your first kiss, or something like that. When you couple experiential learning with emotion, it goes into long-term memory. And that's the entire formula of what our education platform is built on. It's tapping into experience, so doing something, reflecting on it, adding an emotional element to it, so that it goes into long-term memory. Music is obviously, by definition, emotional, so it's the perfect place for this formula. And the importance of music in schools, I think most people here in Europe would agree that it engages students. Actually, graduation rates have been shown to go up. It enhances learning and other core competencies, including math and English. It develops creative thinking, analytical skills, executive management skills, collaboration skills, and problem solving. And most importantly, in my opinion, is it fosters empathy. It's one of the few subjects in school that's still collaborative, truly collaborative. I think theatre probably as well. But sport really isn't, because sport is more against each other. It's sort of this competitive team drive. And there's very little that it now is truly collaborative in its approach. So music and technology can be kind of awkward together, and I think in America a lot of teachers have been told to use technology in their classrooms, but they're not entirely sure how. And so they use a smart board or something like that. And so I sat in hundreds of different classrooms. I got to teach 2 dozen classes myself. And what I found was it had to be really easy to use, and you had to have some compelling content, and then by that I mean let the kids decide what that means to them. So the hook that I would say is, okay, if I need to teach you about Puccini, then I'll first say, what kind of music do you like? And if the student says, I like Dre, or whoever else, or some artist that he listens to on the radio, I'll say, okay, great. So let's take a song by Dre, let's look at the lyrics, and let's compare those lyrics with lyrics by Puccini, because he was the Dre of 1840s or 1850s, you know? And this way you get this hook, and you made it relatable to them, and it makes it relevant to them, and they'll remember Puccini because it's somehow relevant to their own life. So we engage students with meaningful content. We provide a very comprehensive song library because everybody's different. Some people like classical music, some people like rap, some people like country music, and we like the freedom to choose. Customization tools. We want kids to play. The most genius moments come through play. And I saw a wonderful speaker in Denmark at the Lego Foundation who talked about do as I say and not as I do is a really bad way to teach anything. What you really want to do is encourage play, and it has to start with a teacher as well. So customization tools, being able to take a song and change it and switch it up and be playful with it is important. Collaboration tools, I talked about collaboration and the importance of collaboration already, but being able to make music with other people, whether it's songwriting, whether it's performing, is really important. We wanted to give teacher control so that the teacher can lead the way, but it's student-led within the confines of what the teacher will allow. We've got gamification in there. Kids today are using the likes of Snapchat, Instagram, and so forth, and they're used to filters and fun effects and so forth, and so we've built that into our education system also. And we also have tips by Grammy Award-winning artists. So when we've aggregated content, the lesson plans, we put it together with these short videos that make it relatable to the kids. And it's all presented in a very consumer-faced app. So for the teachers, it's a whole different world. For them, it's all about a web-based platform where they can populate the apps for the kids. It aggregates and recommends lesson plans specific to that teacher. Motivate a learning experience for more engaged students. So here again, it's much harder for me as a student to just take my teacher saying, this is what stage presence means to me. And I probably won't really listen as well as if it was will.i.am saying, this is what stage presence means to me, and what does it mean to you? And then the teacher can foster that communication. So that's what we've done there. And then we also allow and give teachers, music teachers, by and large, haven't had the same sort of skills. They don't use documents. So they're not as likely to use Google Class other than to maybe organize a classroom. So we've done all of that there. We let them organize classrooms, send in grade assignments, and keep a history for each student. So that's Wurrly EDU. Again, I would love to be speaking to anyone that's remotely interested in music education or who just wants a demo of the product or wants to hear me sing. I'm happy to sing. We couldn't figure it out today technology-wise, but come and find me. I am around, or you can contact me at Nadine@Wurrly.com. All right? Thank you so much.